This conference will now be recorded.
Hi friends, good afternoon in this Business Intelligence Master Program. So in today's session, we are going to talk about our first Azure Data Factory real-time project. Okay, this is Azure Data Factory project 1. In this session, we will learn real-time use case with financial domain, real-time use case with retail, real-time use case with travel, real-time use case with healthcare domain. And these things, have you heard about these things? Do you remember when we have discussed these all things, real-time use case with financial domain, real-time use case with retail domain? Do you remember, friends? This is our first session. I talked about all these things. So then we are going to talk about real-time project one flow. Okay, in this particular project, what is the project flow? Then we are talking about required resources. Let's start with, see example, if you consider real-time use case with financial domain, we'll have some applications, net banking, mobile apps, Google Pay, Phone Pay, which will generate the transactions data. The data may store in a on-premise in SQL Server or file system, any data warehouse, on-premise data warehouse. That data we will just move it into the cloud by using Azure Data Factory. In cloud, we may use data lake storage, Gen 1, blob storage, data lake storage, Gen 2, anywhere. That's what we discussed. But in on-premise, we also discussed Salesforce, REST API, Snowflake, different on-premise sources, like not so sorry, those are not a on-premise sources. Snowflake, Salesforce, AWS S3, those are also another cloud storages. So we have seen how to bring data from another cloud storages into the Azure cloud, and how to bring data from on-premise to the Azure cloud. So in Azure cloud, we talked about SQL database, SQL data lake Azure data lake storage, Azure blob storage, Azure data lake storage, and all these things we have seen. Along with that, we talked about SQL database, SQL data warehouse, Cosmos DB, all those things we discussed. Once we load data from on-premise to the cloud, what we have done, we have used Databricks for reading data, okay, and connecting to the data lake storage Gen 1 from Databricks, how you can able to read data, how you can write this data into, again, data lake storage, we discussed. And also we discussed how you can read data from blob storage and data lake storage into Databricks or Azure HD Insight also we discussed. And from Azure HD Insight, you cannot write data directly into blob. Yeah, you can write data into blob storage, but you cannot write data directly into Azure Synapse. So what you need to do, first load data back to blob storage. From blob storage, we need to load data into Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay, so basically we have seen moving data from on-premise to the cloud. In cloud, we have used the different storages and databases. Once we loaded data into different databases and storages, we have used the different analytical services like Databricks, Azure HD Insight, and data flows for transforming this data. We have used the Azure Data Lake Analytics, and once we transform the data, we have loaded data into data lake storage, Gen 1 or Gen 2 or blob storage based on the what type of analytical service we have used. And final data, you also know how you can load data into Azure Synapse Analytics from Azure Databricks, next from Azure Data Flows, right? So once we have moved data into Azure Synapse or wherever, we will have a reporting tools will connect, and it will read the data. We discussed up to here. Okay, so do you think anything we have not covered? So you know how to bring data from on-premise to cloud. Once you get data into cloud, you are going to process this data by using data flows, Databricks, Azure HD Insight, data lake analytics, anything you can use. And we are also going to talk about machine learning in our next sessions. And once we transform this data, we will load this data into another storage or Azure Synapse. Basically, even if you load data into any storages, you need to load data from the storages to Azure Synapse Analytics, because it's a OL AP system where we are going to maintain all our historical data to maintain the analytics. Okay, so once we load data into data warehouse, from there we will create the reports. So we discussed entire this flow. Is this clear? We discussed, or do you think anything we missed? Ramu, Manohar, Pavan, Ratnraj, Sudhir, Vinod, Vinay. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Now
Discuss.
this is basically for what, retail domain. Sorry, it's a financial domain, right? So let's talk about retail domain. Same thing, different websites will generate data. That data will load it into on-premise different storages or databases. I will move data into cloud, one of the storage. I will process this database in Databricks or Azure Data Azure HD Insight or Azure Data Lake Analytics or data flows you can use. Finally, load it into Azure Synapse, create Power BI reports or Tableau, ClickView. There are different visualization tools you can use to create the reports. Next, a real-time use case. Let's say finance, like this is basically a travel domain. Again, same data maybe you may have here. Then you can just use all of these things to create these things and create the report. See, from blob storage, from data lake storage gen 2, from data lake storage gen 1, you can connect to the data breaks. And we discussed how you can read data, how you can write data back, right? So from Azure HD Insight also, we learned from how you can read data from blob storage, but you can able to read data even from the data lake storage gen 1 and gen 2. We discussed that. Okay, next. So same with your healthcare domain also, same flow will be there. So with that example, I'm going to talk about real-time project flow one. So what is our real-time project flow? Let's say you have some financial domain data. That data I have stored in an on-premise SQL Server. Let's imagine in our project flow today, I have a data in my on-premise SQL Server. So in today, we will consider as the on-premise SQL Server. Next, maybe we'll consider some file system or something. Okay. So today my data, all financial data is available in on-premise SQL Server. That on-premise SQL Server data, I need to bring it into the cloud by using Azure Data Factory. In cloud, I will store data in a data lake storage gen 2. You know how to load data into data lake storage gen 2. Once I load data into data lake storage gen 2 by using ADF, then I'm going to use Azure Data Factory data flows to do the duplicate checks. Okay, to do the duplicate checks. Then I'm going to do, like, what else I can do. If you want to check null values, you can check some null values and you can ignore those records, and then you can implement SCD1. Okay, so all those things I will do in data flows. Then I will load my data into Azure Synapse Analytics. Still here we are going to do in our today project, because once we load data into Azure SQL data warehouse, from there visualization team like Power BI team, reporting team will consume this data for creating the reports. We just have to do till here. And in this entire flow, there will be at least two teams involved, at least two. One is data factory team, another one is maybe you will have a data flows team, or you can say your data bricks team or anything. Okay, you may have a two teams. Okay, data factory team, basically ingestion team, you can call it as an ingestion team. We will move data from migrating data from on-premise to the cloud, or ingestion team, migration team. So you can call them as a with the different names, migration team, ingestion team. What these teams will do, they will move data from on-premise to the cloud. So another team will read this data, they will do data quality checks, duplicate checks, null checks, time format checks that we have done as part of training, and then they will implement SCD1 or SCD2, then they will load data into Azure Synapse Analytics. So if I combine all our parts, then it will become a real-time project flow. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure you are aware of the real-time project flow and you are able to do this particular real-time project. That's why I'm just explaining this flow. So I will tell you in real time how they will load data into data lake storage gen 2, because people may not use data lake storage gen 1 blob, people will use data lake storage gen 2. That's why I'm talking about data lake storage gen 2. Okay, then
Malaya,
people
this is Ram. Yeah,
people may
Malaya,
use Power BI for creating the
a small
reports.
doubt here.
Tell me, Ram.
Yeah, actually, apart from migrating data using ADF, do we have any other process to migrate whole schema from on-premises to cloud?
Only schema you want to migrate?
For example, I have finance schema, retailing schema, healthcare schema. I have in my on-premises database, and I want to totally migrate whole. For example, each schema has 150, 200 tables. So in total,
Ramu,
450 tables. Those 450 tables along with schema, I have to dump into the cloud by not using ADF. Is there any other way?
yes, there are a number of ways. What I'm asking, you want to migrate data or only schema?
Yeah, data. Schema plus data means
Okay,
table plus data plus schema.
okay.
I want
So
to create the same structure in cloud as it is.
yes, it is possible. So depends on your on-premise SQL Server data size. The data size is small, you can export entire data, you can import data into the Azure SQL database. Okay, that you can able to do. That is the easiest way. There are different, see, you can just go here. I'll just share one of the video that I have in my YouTube channel. So you can use that particular thing as well instead of using Azure Data Factory. Okay. See, Azure migrate on-premise SQL Server to Azure SQL database using backpack, DMA tool. There are different ways. I have copied data into the cloud. Okay, you can just take this particular. How can I share this? Yeah, let me just share this. So this is the one of the way you can just. So if your data size is small and your data is not going to like change regularly, you can just go and use this particular flow. But people are going to use ADF to migrate data from on-premise to cloud. The reason is very simple. Data will keep coming into the on-premise. The data daily I need to run some pipeline, which is a scheduled pipeline. So that pipeline is going to bring daily data or every hour, whatever data is added into on-premise SQL Server, it may load it into the cloud. Maybe ADF may pick data from on-premise to cloud every hour, every day, every week, every month, depends on how the tables are loading this data, how tables are updating. Okay, so that information will be given by your client. Based on that, you need to do this particular migration. A data ingestion team will do this. Any other questions, Ramo?
No, this is the one question they are frequently asked.
Hello, Malaya.
Okay. Tell me, Sudhir.
How data is fed into SQL Server? Is it like client is putting the data into SQL Server, or do we need to take care of that?
Have you heard about Java developer? Have you heard about Python developer?
Yes.
.NET developer, what their job is, they will develop these web applications. Okay, so whatever net banking you are accessing, right? So those will be developed by those people. Those web application developed by Java developer, Python developer, these people. So when you access the website, you are going to make some transaction. Whenever you get some form and you fill it, example, you are transferring money from one account to another account. So you will give like a source account and destination account and how much money to transfer, everything. And you will just submit it, right? So you some verification also will be done. Now these details has to store in a database. Java developer or .NET developer, those people are going to take care of how to fetch these details and store it in a on-premise SQL Server. As a data developer, your responsibility is once the data is available in on-premise SQL Server, how to get data into the cloud, how to process this data, how to show the business, how they are performing in the market, how is their business in the market. Okay. Understood?
Yeah. Understood, Malaya. Thanks.
Any other questions, friends? Because freshers might have a lot of questions, so please let me know. So I'm not saying some whoever is asking questions, those people are freshers. I'm saying freshers are there. Those people should have a lot of questions. You should ask all the questions.
Malaya, like why client is making like moving the data to the on-premises only? Once he change it to the cloud, no, directly he can put the data in the cloud, right?
You are right, but the problem is they don't want to. So then what they need to do? They need to maintain it two different. They need to change their web applications how it is working currently. Okay, so they need to change a web application saying that if the data is this, move it into like cloud. If the data is this, move it into the on-premise. There will be problems will come here. Okay, so example I will tell you, if the personal data they don't want to store it in a cloud, then what you need to do? Personal data you need to store it in a on-premise, and other data you need to store it in a cloud. So you need to like separate all this logic, you need to write in a web application. Instead of that, web application will do the common job, that is still it will write data into your on-premise SQL Server, take that particular data, and as per the client will tell, hey, I have this much data, you should not pick these columns. These are a personal identity information. Example, customer phone number, customer address, customer PAN card number, customer account number. Those I don't want to I don't want you to copy into the cloud. If you want to copy into the cloud, please encrypt these things. Then you load it into the cloud. That's what people will say. Understood? So that's why some information, some master data, some personal information will be there in your on-premise.
Okay, Malay.
Example, customer names, customer address, all these things we have in on-premise. You are like, we were talking about some ADF scenarios, right? You are a some gaming company. So you are implementing the game, right? So what happens if somebody started playing the game, all the logs you are going to collect. Okay. So when you collect all the logs, now what you need to do, you need to compare against who, like you have some information. With this information you need to compare, okay, this user is from which location. Okay, so when he has joined in our application, when he has registered, okay, so how much time he is spending, all those things. If you want to calculate, you need to take that particular application logs and you need to join with his personal data. Then only you will get your final output. So personal data will be there in on-premise. Logs, your gaming application will generate logs. Those logs you can directly store it in a cloud. Now you need to compare who has generated these logs, this person is from which location, because you want to understand in which location more people are accessing, more people are using our games. And wherever it is not popular, we need to provide some advertisement or something. So I want to understand from which location these people are playing these games. So customer name, customer location, all those things will be available in on-premise. All the logs available in the cloud. I need to join on-premise data and cloud data to get the final report. So when I'm bringing data from on-premise to cloud, some personal data, customers information, I will encrypt the data. Understood?
Yeah, Malay.
Tell me about yourself. I will answer that question. I'll just give you some script. You just to replace your name and your like your skills, your project details. Okay. Next, any other questions? Fine. If you don't have, let's move on. See, required resources for our today lab. You see, I cannot keep everything in the slides, and by the time I explain, it will become 2 hours. That's why I just want to make as simple as the slides. Like I just maintain very few slides so that I can show you everything from the scratch when we are doing the lab. I need an on-premise SQL Server, Azure Data Factory, Data Lake Storage Gen 2, Azure Synapse Analytics, Logic App, and a keyword. So you know for what purpose we will use all of these. Okay, that's all. That's all I have. Let's quickly go and create all these things. Okay. Let me just go into the portal.azure.com. This is our like we need to have this particular structure in our mind. Okay, so we need to create an on-premise SQL server. For that, what we have done, we have created a virtual machine. Inside virtual machine, virtual machine is also considered as an on-premise. In a virtual machine, we have a SQL server. From there, we need to load data into data lake storage. So first we finish this particular part. Then we will implement data flow, which is going to copy data from data lake storage into the Azure Synapse. So I will explain all the steps. First, we need to load data into on-premise SQL server to data lake storage. Let's create the SQL server. So go to virtual machines. Click add virtual machine, virtual machines. Okay. I'll just give the resource group name. Project 1 and virtual mission name. So virtual mission name, I will say on-premise VM, on-premise VM, something like that. Okay, because I am going to consider this VM as a on-premise. That's an on-premise VM. So all these things, you know, available zone. I don't want any redundancy. That's why I'm just saying infrastructure redundancy required. Redundancy means backup. I don't want any backup for this mission. So what type of mission you want? Ubuntu? No. what I want basically Windows SQL Server mission. Okay, let's find the image. Okay, you just come here. So if you're not able to find here, you can just search here Windows mission. Okay, come down slowly. You will be able to see. Okay, click load more. That's okay. Do one thing. There is search with SQL Server. Searching for the images. Yes. See here. These are the Windows machines. Okay. See SQL Server. All these are the SQL Server. Here we have Windows. See now. Here you can see SQL Server 2019 on Windows Server 2019, meaning in a Windows laptop we have installed SQL Server 2019. Okay, Windows laptop, in Windows laptop we have a SQL Server 2019. This is the server which I need. Okay, just select this image. So in this you can see multiple you have, right? So you just take standard or anything is fine. You just go with this. Okay, first one, anything you can select basically. Okay, I just selected now database engine only general. Okay, that's okay. Now, so 2 CPU, 8 GB memory I have in this particular Windows machine, and I need to enter my username and password. Let's enter username. Okay, see here standard on-premise SQL Server. See standard on Windows Server 2019 database engine only. But if you want anything else, you can just find out here. As we have seen some images, right? So we have some enterprise. If you want to select some enterprise, that is also you can able to select. So again, you just search here SQL Server. I will tell you. Okay, come down. So here we have Windows Server, right? Just when you click select, so we have the standard database engine only, standard on Windows SQL Server. Okay. Next we have enterprise. You can just have enterprise. So you can just take any of this. Okay. So but standard, let me just take standard. Okay. Standard I'm taking this. SQL Server 2019 standard on Windows Server 2019 Gen 1. Okay. This is what I'm taking. I entered my username and password. Remember. So I'll just keep all this in note. Okay. I have Windows SQL, sorry, Windows VM credentials, or username is, because you will forget once I create all the things. Password I remember. Okay. Next, port we need to enable this. Then click days. All these things you keep as days. Management, advanced. Okay, all these things you can keep as is. SQL Server settings. In SQL Server settings, I have a two types of authentication I can do. SQL authentication also I can do. Enable this. So here I can say admin. SQL authentication I am calling it as okay. Cloud Pandit. I'm just calling login name is Cloud Pandit. Password is I'll just keep the same password. Okay, you just keep these things. Click view plus create. That's all you need to do. It will take at least 15 minutes. By 1 o'clock we should be able to create all the resources. Let's try that. Create it. So it is going to create. It is going to create. Now, if you remember my SQL authentication, SQL authentication. authentication username. Username is what? Username is what I have given? Cloud Pandit. Cloud Pandit. A password is I maintain basically same password. Okay, next. This is done. Next, we need to go to our. So once we have a data in on-premise SQL Server, the data I need to move it into the cloud. In cloud, where I want to move Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. So let me create Data Lake Storage Gen 2. See, this is the image that we need to follow. I just set up these things. I'm creating the Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Then I will create ADF. Okay. So let's create the Data Lake Storage Gen 2, then ADF. Go to storage accounts. Click add to create the storage accounts. Resource group is same resource group. Storage account name is cloud pandit blog cloud pandit ADLS Gen 2. Cloud pandit ADLS Gen 2. So Gen 2 means what we need to do. Hierarchical namespace we need to enable. Then click review plus create it. Now come here. So now what I need to do? I need to create what? I need to create the Azure Data Factory. Okay, Azure Data Factory, just click on Data Factories. Click add to create the Data Factories. Resource group is this and HTS. Name of this is Cloud Pandit ADF V2. P1 I'll just give in the middle, project 1. This name should be available. Click Git configuration. I'll configure it later. Click Replace Create. Click Create. Okay, deployment in progress. This will be done. Now come here. Now this part is completed. We created the on-premise data lake storage Gen 2 ADF. Now data flows is within a ADF. You don't need to do anything extra. We need to create a Azure Synapse Analytics now. Okay, so because it is also going to take some time, and just go and create the Azure Synapse Analytics. Azure Synapse, right? Come here. Click on Azure Synapse Analytics. Click Add to create the Azure Synapse Analytics. Oh, sorry. Azure Synapse Analytics means it will go in a different way because the name has changed for this. We have something called dedicated. So you just say something like this SQL DW, dedicated SQL pools, because we need a SQL DW. Then they have changed the name as a dedicated SQL pools. Click Add to create a dedicated SQL pools. Resource group is this, and SQL pool name is Cloud Pandit equal DW. Let's create the SQL server. Cloud Pandit SQL server. And enter username. Enter password. Okay. So Cloud Pandit P1 SQL server. P capital small p. P1 SQL server. Okay, click OK. So it's a 1000 C. I don't want to use 1000 C. It's very high. I'll just use some 100 C. Click apply. Then click review plus create. Click create. Okay, now I have created almost all the services. Okay, almost all the services I have created. You can see on-premise SQL Server is creating, your storage account is created, data factory is created. Now let me open the paint. So everything I will do from the scratch. Okay. Now you see this is basically we have a on-premise. Okay. Yeah, okay. So in on-premise what I have? Okay. SQL Server. I'll just create some 4 tables in SQL Server. I'll just create some 4 tables in SQL Server. Next, I have basically a data lake storage in this. This is basically you can consider it as an on-premise. You need to consider this as a cloud. Okay. So in this cloud, I need to get data from on-premise SQL Server to the cloud. In cloud, I'm going to get data into my data lake storage Gen 2. So when I'm getting data into data lake storage Gen 2, remember, so in any project, if you're already working, you already aware of this. So there will be 3 flows. There will be 3 different folders in this. One is called a raw folder. Basically, we will call it as a raw. Okay, so another one you can call it as a working, or you can call it as a process data. Finally you will have a defined data. Okay, process data, raw data, process data, refined data. Maybe some people call it as a landing layer, working layer, some pre-integrated layer, something like that. There will be different names. But what is the meaning of 3 different folders? Okay, first, whatever data you have in SQL Server, that data directly I will dump into my raw layer. Okay, I will dump into my raw layer by using Azure Data Factory, by using ADF pipeline, by using ADF PL. I'll just copy data into the raw folder. Okay, in raw folder also, how I will load the data? Generally, example, I have 4 folders: customer, I have orders, okay, I have employees, you have some credit card information, okay, some credit. 4 different files I have. When you take these 4 different files, what basically I do, I'll just copy these 4 different files into the raw layer. So now how you load into raw folder is, in raw folder, inside raw folder. See here, I'll just tell you all those things. Inside raw folder, see inside the raw folder, you know what it means. Can somebody tell me if I say ABC, XYZ? So if I give this path, what is meant by ABC? ABC folder is available where? Nagaras, can you tell me what it means? ABC folder is available where? Inside raw folder or outside of raw folder? Vinod?
Inside on.
Very good. So raw folder, inside we have a ABC folder. Inside ABC folder, what we have? XYZ. But in real time, raw folder, inside raw folder, we have a table name cust. So this table name data, maybe daily we will have a different data, right? So today data, example, last few days data we will take 01 25 or 26. Okay, data will be loaded something like this. So next day data will be like this. This will be something you can call it as 27, 28, 29, 30. Okay, we will have a data something like this. Under this 26th folder we will have data. Now you understood in raw layer how the data is storing. Now data will be there like this. Now from raw layer, I will do some duplicate checks and null checks I will do, and I will read data from raw layer. Okay. So now what I will do, I have a basically here I have a single processing framework, that is basically I'll use a data flows. I have a data flows. What data flows will do? The data flows. First data flows will read data from raw layer. Data flows will read data from raw layer. Understood? I think here we don't have this. It will read data from raw layer into data flows. You will do the duplicate checks, null checks, all those things. If the records are good, you will load it into the process layer. So now when I'm reading data from raw layer, how I will read? Particular day data I will read. So customer will say, can you process today data? So can you process yesterday data? So we need to process data daily. So 26th data I will process it and load it into process data folder. Now in process data folder also, how the data will be there? Can you guess it and tell me? In process data folder, how I will load data? Can you guess it and tell me? Same process data slash we have your customer table and for 2020 0106. So can you tell me what it indicates? What this indicates? Can you tell me in this particular folder what data we will have? So raw folder 26th data, raw folder 27th data, raw folder 28th data. Which data we will have in this process data folder? I will read data from raw and load it into process data. Okay, very good. So raw layer
All right.
here it's by mistake I just kept 2. It should be it should be 2 here. Okay, just consider it as a 2. Well, let me just remove this. I'll just form it again. Here we have process data slash cust slash 2020 0126. In this 26th folder we will have a 26th data. Next in this also we will have similar folders. 27th. Okay, I will have a 27th data, something like this. Okay, understood this? Okay, likewise we'll have a data. Okay, clear? Yeah, that's okay. But once I have loaded data into process, again I will read data from process layer. Maybe 2 different tables I will read. I will just join these 2 tables. The joined data I will write it into the refined data folder. Okay, a refined data folder. So whatever data I have in refined data folder, so all the data is I don't need to move it into the Azure Synapse. So some data maybe I need to move it into the Azure Synapse and text. I need to move it into the Azure Synapse and text. Okay, so this is what I will do. I just bring the some Azure Synapse. So into Azure Synapse, I will move some part of the data from the refined layer, from the refined folder. Okay. Now with this example, we have on-premise SQL Server ready. We have created data lake storage. In data lake storage, how many folders I need to create? Raw, process data, and refined data. Go to storage account. Click on go to resource. Let me just create a 3 different folders. Click on container. Click on here. So this is basically under global folder. First I'll create a global folder. Under global folder I'll create all these things, because global means all country data, all different layers data. Raw data, first raw data. Next I will say process data. Refined data. Okay, refined data. Now you understood? how I have created 3 different folders. Fine. Now let's go to on-premise SQL Server. Yes, on-premise SQL Server also available. So first step that we do is we will connect to the, I will connect to, okay, I will connect to this particular SQL Server and I will create these 4 tables. Okay, that's what I will do. That's what I will do. Let's come here. Yeah, click go to resource. Click connect RDP. Download RDP file. Okay, open this. Click connect. So you need to provide the username here. Just to provide username. So what is the username I have given? I know I have given username as this. Yes, if you want to check username, you can check. Windows VM username is Malaya. And password I will enter. Password I entered. Click OK. Click yes. Just wait for 1 minute. The reason is it should refresh completely. Otherwise, it will keep stucking, right? So let's wait for some time. So you know, right here, what we need to do is we need to turn off some security things. Click on local server. Click on IA enhanced security configuration. Turn on, right? Let's turn off this. Click OK. Okay. Uncheck. Okay. Let's. Okay. Okay. So fine. Now let's do one thing. Bring it down. Okay. Bring it down. Close this. Now this is little bit, we waited some time, it will work fine now. Let's see the commonly used tool, that is SQL Server Management Studio. Do we have that? Yes, it will have, but it will not come. Something. See, SQL Server Management Studio 2018. Double click on. But what is the other tool we have used? Anybody remember? If somebody you asked you what tools you have used to connect to the on-premise SQL Server or Azure SQL database, what tools we have used? SSMS, Azure Data Studio, SSMS and Azure Data Studio both. Okay, it will take some time to open. Let's wait. Okay, where is our tool? That's okay. But see here, server name is what? On-premise VM. How you got this server name? Server name is nothing but your VM name. So example, see, you go to portal. This is your VM name. Okay. So this is your VM name. Click on this. Go to resource. In overview, you can see this is what your VM name. This VM name is going to be your server name, your SQL server name. That is the name. So there are two ways to connect. One is Windows authentication. Windows authentication means whatever username and password you have provided to log in into the VM, same credentials it will take to connect to the SQL server. There is another type of authentication, that is SQL Server authentication. This also you can use. This also you can use. But what is the username for SQL authentication? What is the username? Cloud Pandit. Okay. Let me just first try to connect with Windows authentication. Connect it. Yes, I'm able to connect. Okay. Let's disconnect. Click connect. Database engine. Same server. Authentication type is SQL Server authentication. First I will enter cloud Pandit. One I will give because username wrong we will give. Let's see whether we will be able to connect or click connect. It is saying login failed for user Cloud Pandit 1. Now I'll just correct the username to Cloud Pandit 1. Cloud Pandit. From Cloud Pandit 1, I just changed it to Cloud Pandit. I'm able to connect. So once you connect, go to databases. You don't have any databases. You need to create a databases. In a SQL server, you can have multiple databases. Click on new query. Here you can create database Cloud Pandit DB. Okay, execute it. Sorry, cancel this. Execute. Click on this. So this command completed successfully. Right click on databases. Refresh this. See Cloud Pandit DB came. Expand this database. Go to tables. You don't have any tables. Okay, I want to create a maybe some 4 tables. I'll quickly create. So you know how to create tables. Create table, first table, CAD in CNAME varchar. Okay, next create table, orders, order ID in order, order name varchar 50, order location, order. Sorry, order. So customer ID. Which customer has placed this particular order? What is the order ID? Both we should have. Okay. OID means order ID. Okay. Next, create table. This spelling mistake. Table. Create table. You can say employees. EMPID in employee name. Varchar employee salary. Employee salary. You can say big hint. Next, create table. Okay. Create table. Maybe you can say discounts column. Okay. Customer ID in discount is something integer. Okay. These are the 4 tables I have. Let's execute this. I have created 4 tables. Right click on these tables, refresh this. Where is this tables? Why I'm not able to see? Can you tell me why I'm not able to see? The reason is you created the Cloud Pandit database, but you executed these 4 tables in a master database. Okay. So to see these tables in master database, go to master, go to tables. In these tables, you see you have created in a master database, but it's a system database. I want to select here the database which you have created. This is the one. In this database, I want to create this. Okay, now select and execute this. Okay, now created these 4 tables in your database. Refresh this, 4 tables created. I'm going to insert the new data into these tables. Now you can see insert into cost. Values are okay, 1. Location is, you can say basically, or you can ignore like location, you can say Hyderabad. For Sinu Venkat. Okay, so these are the 5 names I have. Okay, let's execute this 5. Okay, let's select the data. Do we have data or not? You can see. Let's execute this. Yes, we have these 5 records. We have this 5. Okay, that's fine. But what I wanted to do, I want to execute these 5 records again because I'm not maintaining any primary key. What happens? I have some duplicate records. I have some duplicate records. Let it be those duplicate records as this. Okay, next insert into orders. Values are 1 order ID. This is placed by like order name is laptop. This is placed by first customer only. Okay. Next order ID 2. Order ID is 2. You can say something mobile. Okay. Order ID must be 2. Fine. Next order ID 3. Say something called TV. Order ID placed by second customer. Next order ID 4. Like you can say something work which is placed by fourth customer. There is no orders for like third and fifth employee. Okay, these 4 orders I have here also. Let's execute this. Okay, let's execute this. So next create table employee ID. Sorry, table is created, right? Insert into employee. Values are 1 David. Next is salary, I can say 1000. Tone Miller, you can say 2000. Something you can give in like for me 3000 for ABD 4000. Okay, so some employees just insert these records into the employee table. Fine. Next, what is the final table? We have some discounts, right? So discounts. So only we have 2 columns in discount column. customer ID and how much discount he has. Okay. Insert into discount, discount or discounts, discount only, right? Discounts, okay, discounts. Values are first customer, I'm giving the discount is something 1000. Okay, 10. For second customer, third customer 10, fourth customer 20. And there is no there is no discount for the fifth customer. Okay, so let it be fifth customer discount is 0. Okay, just insert these records. Okay, I just inserted the data. Let's copy all this data into our notepad so that we'll have a for future reference. Okay, I have created the tables. I inserted all the data. Now I want to say select star from first. So I want to say discounts. I want to say orders. I want to say employees, customers, and keep it down. I'll tell you the reason. Let's select this four. I am just removing this. Let's create this, execute this. Can you say employees? We have how many employees? 1, 2, 3. Okay, only 4 employees. How many orders we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Next, how many customer IDs we have? See, we have for 5 customers we have a discount. Okay, now I think fourth table results. If you want, you need to drop down. You need to go down. You'll get the customer details also. Okay, but in out of these 4, we know that only customer table is accepting the duplicates. Other tables are designed not to accept the duplicate records. Let's imagine, because client people, they have designed their tables. Some tables may get the duplicate, some tables may not get the duplicate. So customer table may have a duplicate. That's what customer is informed. You need to remove the duplicates from this. Okay, first you need to load all these 4 tables into your data lake storage gen 2. How to do that? So first you need to create a metadata table. You know, right? This. So this metadata table you can maintain here. So create table metadata. Metadata, you need to say source table, source table name. Source table name is varchar. Where I want to load this data, destination. Okay. Storage path. Storage path is varchar 50. We have something called let's say is active, if this table is active or not. We'll have an integer. Okay, something like that. You will have all these things. Okay, next there's something called, let's say, status. Status is varchar 50. Okay, now I want to insert the data into this metadata table. Metadata values are first we have a customer table. I want to load it as this cust. Okay. Is active 0. Is active, yes, 0 means active. Status is ready. Ready means we need to pick this data. It is not loaded data. Okay, so next table is what? Next table is what? You can say discount. You have next table is, you can say orders. Okay. You can say here also. Yes. You can say employee. Here also you can say EMP. Next we have something with discounts. We need to give here also discounts. Okay, so all these things we have. Now one thing, I just created the metadata table or not? I have not created, right? So one more thing I want to create, source schema. Source schema is also not the source schema. What is the first table schema? DView. What is the orders table schema? DView. See, DView dot first, DView dot first. Okay, this is important. Okay, with this, let me create the metadata table. Need to put the comma here. Let's play. See, I'm done. I am doing everything from the scratch. So please let me know if you have any confusion or any doubt. Let's save this data in a house. Okay, all the things are ready with respect to your on-premise SQL Server. Respect to on-premise SQL Server, everything is ready. But now I need to design a pipeline which is going to read data from your on-premise SQL Server and load it into data lake storage. So we have multiple tables. You know whether table is existed or not. You are going to check and all those things. But I don't want to complicate my pipeline, because you know how you can optimize your pipelines. You can use get metadata to check this table is available or not. If it is available, then only you need to pick up. But I don't want to use all those things. I am going to do simple pipeline. That is, my pipeline will have few activities. Let me explain those things. My first pipeline, on-premise to cloud. Okay, that pipeline is going to have, it is going to have a few information. That is simple pipeline. So how I will design something else. Sorry. Okay, pipeline one. So in my pipeline one, first I will use a to read metadata. You need to be active, because I need to speak 2 hours. If you are not responding, it is difficult for me to speak. So what is the first activity I'm going to use to read metadata? So because I need a metadata, what activity you will use to read metadata?
Get metadata.
To read metadata, what? Very good. Very good. You people are practicing. Good. Yeah, I'm going to use a lookup activity for reading the data. So I will read the lookup activity. Second. So I will just use the first lookup activity I will use. Okay. Then I will use for each activity. So inside for each activity, I will not use get metadata activity, all those things. Simple copy activity I will use. Okay. To copy the data, I'll simply use the copy activity. If this copy activity failed, I'll just send the alert notification. Okay, that's why what I will do, I'll use a web activity if the pipeline is failed. If the pipeline is succeeded or failed, doesn't matter. I will use a stored procedure activity. Two stored procedures I will have. Okay, try to understand these things. I cannot help you these things. Try to understand. This is basically lookup. This is basically lookup. Okay, this is basically for each. For each. Next. So inside this what? Copy activity. Okay. Next, what is this? This is basically web activity. This is basically what? This is a web activity. Okay, this is a web activity. Next, what are these? These are a stored procedures inside SP1. So you can say SSP, success stored procedure, this one, failure stored procedure, this one. Okay, What it means is, if the for inside for each one by one table, I will get to the copy activity. Copy activity is going to copy. If the copy activity while copying it is failed, if it is failed, then my like web activity will execute to trigger a notification, and along with that, my failure stored procedure is going to execute to update the status. So we need to execute a stored procedure. For that, I need to implement a stored procedure now. Yeah, how to create a stored procedure? Create proc my stored procedure basically to update the metadata underscore usp. Okay. Yes, begin, and now this is basically to update the metadata status. Update metadata status as whatever status I will pass dynamically. Okay, where table name equal to, I'll just tell what is the table name. Okay, whatever table my says, so in that table it is going to update that table name also. I'm going to pass it dynamically. Okay, so if you are not able to understand something, means we have not practiced properly. So then I cannot help you anything if you have not practiced. I thought of giving some time for you to practice, but I don't think you will practice. You need to practice the things, and then you can. Okay. So yes, table source table name and status both I will send. This is the my stored created. Create a proc metadata USP as status varchar 50. So yes, you need to put it here. Let's create this now. Invalid column name, table name, where we have used. Oh, this is a source table. Source table, and we have a status correct. Okay, let's create this. This is done now. Thank you. Okay, this is the source table. Everything is done. One more thing I need to do. Can anybody tell me how I can able to read the data, on-premise data into the cloud? What is the one thing that we need to install?
Self-hosted device.
We self-hosted IR. So I don't need to go anywhere. I can directly download the self-hosted IR. Can directly install this self-hosted IR. Go to integration runtimes. Click on click on download Microsoft integration runtime. Come down, click on download. Select the latest version. This is the one. Click next. Yellow ones. Click run directly. We don't need to save this software. We can able to install directly. So it is downloaded. Preparing to install. Let it install. Click next. To accept the license and agreement. Next. Next. Install it. Okay, it is going to install it. Let's wait. Meanwhile, it installs. What we do, we will go to the ADF. Okay, so these are fine. Data lake storage entity is ready to access the data from on-premise SQL Server. Now we need to open a data factory to create self-hosted IR and create link service implemented by. Okay, let's click author and monitor. Okay, so now let's click on manage tab. Go to integration runtime. Click new. Azure or self-hosted. Continue. Self-hosted. Continue. This is, you can say, Cloud Pandit. Self-hosted. IR. Sorry. Are you able to see now? I don't know. Somehow it is fused. Are you able to see now? Okay, fine. See, Cloud Pandit self-hosted IR. Where it got passed, Bharat? From
It's
where
like
you are?
it is at like Azure Data Factory, we are moving, no? Other and monitor from there.
Okay, so I just came to the manage tab. I hope you know. Coming to integration runtime. If you want, let me just take a step again, step back. Cancel this. Okay, from author tab, I came to the manage tab. Go to integration runtime. Click new. Click Azure self-hosted. Click self-hosted. Continue. So here I'm going to say Cloud Pandit self-hosted IR. Okay, just click create. It is given two keys. Take one key. Registered your self-hosted IR. This one, it is installed. We need to register. Click finish. Provide that key here and register. Click finish. Okay, node has been registered successfully. Okay, launch configuration, that's all, it is done. You can cancel this. Self-hosted node is connected to the cloud services. Now see here, close this. It is unavailable. If you refresh it, it will be keep running. It is running. Now I want to create the linked services. Click new. So from where to where we need to move the data? From on-premise SQL Server to the data lake storage Gen 2. In data lake storage Gen 2, into which folder I need to load the data? Into which folder I need to load the data? Please tell me, friends.
Raw folder.
Raw folder. Very good. Okay. First, let's create a connections to our on-premise SQL Server. Click SQL Server. Continue. This is basically ls for on-premise SQL Server. Auto resolve, or which IR we need to self-hosted, you know. So we have not stored anything in QL. We have not even created the QL. Let's create the QL. Before that, you can just enter all the server name and other details. Okay. How to get the server name? What is the server name? Server name is your on-premise VM. You can see here. Okay, I'll just type it. On-premise VM. Next, database name. You remember what is the database I have created inside? Go inside. Click on SSMS. So in this, you can see the database name I have created is Cloud Pandit DB. Okay, I'll just go here. I'll create the Cloud Pandit DB. Username is my name. I will give, and a keyword. I have not created the keyword. Let's quickly go and create the keyword. Okay. You understood what I'm doing? I'm going to create the key vault. In key vault, I will keep my password. From the key vault, I will read my password. Search for keywords here. Click on keyword. Click add. Select resource group. Give your cloud fund. AQB 0130. Access policy, you need to grant the permissions to your ADF so that ADF can able to read the secrets. So only I will allow secret management. The secrets I want to allow. Okay. Here for full permissions, I want to give for key and all. You don't need to give because you are only working for the secrets. For which data factory you want to grant this access? See, cloud funded P1 ADF V2. So to that data factory, I need to grant the access. Cloud funded P1. Select this, click add, 3way plus create. Create. Let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes. You can relax. Okay, so keyword is ready. Go to resource, go to secrets. Let's store our on-premise SQL Server password. Okay, so you can say SQL Server PWD password. I'll store the actual password here. Create it. Come to data factory now. Let's connect to the Azure keyword. Select Azure keyword. I want to read password from the keyword. Connect to Azure keyword. This is basically ls per AKV connection. So subscription keyword name is this. Test connection. Connection successful created. So I'm going to see a SQL Server PWD. I will give it SQL Server PWD test connection. Connection failed. What is the reason? Check it. Check this. On-premise I selected which IR. Can you check once again? Cloud Panel self-hosted IR. Let's go and try with a password by entering the password. Let's try whether I entered password wrongly in Azure keyword. Let's test it. Connections keep failing. Can somebody tell me what is the problem? The problem is you are not observed. See, go here. Go here. It's a SQL authentication. In SQL authentication, what is the username? Cloud Pandit, but I have given my name. That is the problem. Okay, let's give the Cloud Pandit, test the connection. Connection should be successful. Yes, go to Azure keyword. From Azure keyword linked service, SQL Server password, you test the connection. This also should be successful. This should be successful. Yes, successful. Create it. Now let us say document creation. So first, what? Okay, this is the problem. We need to create linked service, Azure keyword linked service. Then we need to publish it. Then only we can able to use this here. Okay. So what we need to, let's discard these changes. This is the keyword we have created. Let's publish this keyword first. Then we can create the linked service for on-premise SQL Server. Yeah, meanwhile, we can just try to click new, select SQL Server, continue. This is a ls for SQL. Okay. SQL Server connection. It should be a Cloud Pandit. Server name is same, right? On-premise VM. Database name is Cloud Pandit DB. If you remember, SQL authentication name is username is Cloud Pandit. It's not my name. It's a Cloud Pandit. From key vault. Okay, by using this connection, I'm going to read the secret. Secret name is SQL Server PWD. Let's test the connection. Connection successful. You can able to create now. Okay, this connection is done. Now we need to create the linked service for our data lake storage Gen 2. Select Gen 2, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2, continue. So you can say ls for ADLS Gen 2. Connection. Auto resolvent account key. Subscription is there. Storage account name is this. Okay. Storage account name is this. Test connection. Okay, then create it. ADL Gen 2 connection, SQL Server connection. Okay, let's So these are the connections. Let's go to author. In author tab, we need to implement the pipeline. Okay, let's create a pipeline. Okay, on premise. SQL Server to UDL Gen 2. Okay. Okay, fine. So now let me just use the lookup activity to read the metadata. Go to general, bring the lookup activity, settings, click new. So where is our metadata? Metadata is available in a SQL Server. Go to SQL Server, select this, click continue. This is a DS for on-premise SQL Server, right? So you need to say SQL Server lookup activity. In lookup activity, we are creating this data set. This is the connection we need to view. And I want entire data or I want a specific data. I don't want to select entire metadata. I want to write some query. I will tell you what query I need to submit. Click OK. So instead of table, I can query this data. Okay, I'll just say select star from metadata table where status not equal to where status is not equal to succeeded. Okay, where status is not equal to succeeded. So only those things I want to take. Okay, now with this, can you tell me how many tables I will get? Status for all 4 tables. What is the status? Status is ready, so it is not equal to succeeded. Status is ready, so I will get all the 4, but I won't get all 4 because there is a first row only. If you uncheck now, click preview data, you will see all the 4 tables. See source schema, source table, storage path is active, status is ready. Okay, we have all these 4 tables. Now these 4 tables I will pass to the for each activity. pass your output to the for each activity. Come here. So I want to go sequentially one by one table. So you know all these things. Look up output dot value. Click finish. So inside for each activity, I'm going to use a copy activity. Source data set I will create. What is my source data set? Source is available where? SQL Server. Select SQL Server. So from SQL Server, what I will get basically, I need to set DS for Azure SQL Server source data set. Okay, there's a linked service, same linked service. Sorry, I need to use the same linked service, and then I need to select a table name. What is the table name you have? So table names you should not select because you need to pass one by one table name dynamically. That's why I won't select any table. Click OK. So, but how you will select the table names? How you will pass the table name? Go to dataset, source dataset. Okay, in the source dataset, create a two parameters. I will tell you. One is source schema, source table name. Source table, you just said source table. Okay, come here. So click edit. Here you need to provide schema. Here you need to provide the table. That's how we are going to pass the one by one, like table. Okay, schema here, table name here. Okay. Now go to your pipeline. Here you need to provide the source schema name and the source table name. How you will get these things? You will get it from the like here. If you search, you will come to know. If you go to look up, if you click on look up, if you preview data, so okay, so the easiest way is create a breakpoint, debug this. This is the easiest way, debug this. Okay, run it is created, it is running, it is queued, it is in progress. It should succeed. I think it is succeeded. Click on output. You know, so these are the your items, right? These are your items. Okay. What I need to do from these items, I need to pass the source schema and source table name. How will you pass it? At the rate source schema at the rate source table. Okay, that's what I need to pass it. Go inside. Okay, remove breakpoint. Go inside for each. Copy data. Source schema. You can say add dynamic content from this for each items. What I want from this entire item, I want to pass a source schema. Let's pass the source schema first. Click finish. Next, I want to pass a table name. Add dynamic content. Go to for each. For each will give entire item. In this entire item, now I need to take the source table. Take the source table. That's all. You finished. You are done. I want to load data into. My data lake storage Gen 2. For that, let's create the data set. Gen 2 data lake storage Gen 2. Continue. As a CSV I want to load, or if you want to load it as a Parquet, that is also you can able to do. Okay, let me load it as a CSV. Okay, sorry friends. So here this is basically ds underscore ADLS Gen 2 sync data set. Okay, let's create a link. Linker service we are going to use. Like folder name, I need to get it dynamically. Okay, first you just select global folder and select a raw folder. You know, so till here folder is fine, but inside raw folder I want to pass some subfolder as cust. Inside subfolder cust, I want to create some year month day folder. Under that I need to load the actual CSV data. Okay, so first as that click OK. Okay, fine. Now once this copy activity succeeded, I want to like execute the stored procedure activity. Okay, success stored procedure activity. So same stored procedure, I'll just take it. Okay, so same stored procedure. Let's say this is success stored procedure. Okay, I can say success underscore stored procedure. Success underscore stored procedure. So in this success stored procedure, what parameters I will pass? Import parameters. In this stored procedure, we'll have two parameters. So table name. What is the table name? I need to get it dynamically from the for each. So in this, I need to pass the source table name. Okay. Next. So if the table is succeeded, status I can able to hard code it directly. I can say succeed. Okay. I can simply say succeeded. Okay. That is what I'm giving. Next. Let's say if this particular pipeline is failed, I just want to take a clone of this. I'll just say failed. On failure of this copy activity, I will just execute this. So this is what it is going to do. Okay, fine. Click on this. Okay, so this is basically what failed stored procedure. In failed stored procedure parameter, only thing I need to status or need to update is failed. Okay. Along with this copy activity failure, I also I'm updating the status, but along with that, I need to call a web activity. By using web activity, I need to call my stored procedure. Okay, sorry, by using web activity, we need to call the logic cap. Okay, logic cap also should execute on failure scenarios. Okay, so web activity, but have we created a logic cap? No. Let me quickly create logic cap. Okay, this is done. What we need to do? Let's click on which one? Logic cap, right? Let's find the logic cap. Click on logic caps. Let's click add to create the logic caps. So resource group, this is the resource group. Okay. Open with logic cap. Click review plus create. Validating. If validation is passed, we can able to create it. Okay. Once the logic cap is created, I am not going to use any parameters, all those things, because if you do all those things, so till tomorrow evening, we need to do the real-time project. So all those things we discussed as part of our training. So I'll quickly show you like how to hard code, like with hard coded logic cap, how we can develop quickly. Yes, logic cap is available. Now go to resource. How to design the logic cap, you know, right? Logic cap designer. I'll just come down. I'll say for HTTP request response, it should, when in a HTTP request is received, use this template. So I'm using this template directly. Okay, so URL will be generated. What method you want to use? Method I want to use is, maybe you can say what method you will use? Something get method. I just remove this because I don't want this response. So I have created the HTTP. Next step is I want to send a mail. Okay, what mail you will send through? Gmail. Okay, select Gmail. I want to send an email. Okay. So we need to connect. Okay, first we need to connect. Okay, so we need to create the connection. So what you need to do for creating the connection, just click on okay, yeah, click on Google API Service User Data Policy. So here you can able to see all the policies, okay, who can create and all those things, what kind of security you will get it. Okay, now connection, it is not showing. Okay, connection name, let me give Cloud Pandit connection. Then click sign in. So you need to log in into some mail to like to send a mails, right? Let me log in the mail. I'll just use some Cloud Pandit. I'll just use the Cloud Pandit at the gmail.com. Click along. Okay, that's okay. Now I need to put all the things. Okay, whom and all I need to send the mail, all those things, right? So whoever is interested to receive the mails, please ping in chat window. I'll just add your names. Okay, body and subject. Okay, so simply I'll just say pipeline failed. Okay, table is not available. Pipeline failed. Okay, so you add new parameters. Yeah, new parameter. You can say yeah, you don't need to give anything else. So I need to add the some mail IDs. We have linked mail IDs only. You know, just take this, keep it here, keep it here. Okay, next I'll just give you cloudpandit@gmail.com. Okay, these two things. Okay. Now the pipeline failed, body is table is not available, pipeline failed. Okay, something like this. With this, save this particular logic app. Okay, once the pipe like logic app is saved, you will get the URL. Take this URL, keep it here. Go to your data factory in logic app settings. I'll just give this method is get method. Okay, so let's publish this. Till here, we will try to understand whether it is working or not. So then if it has some problem, we will just resolve these things. Then we will go to the next. Oh shit. So one thing I need to do, I forgot to do. So sync side, we have not added the folders. Okay, let's open this data set. See, you have like just given the raw folder and later you have not given anything else. Let's create a one folder because I need to pass the table name. Under raw folder, I need to have a table. Under table, I will have a year, month, day, right? So I will say sync table. Come to connection. So yeah, just to keep it here also, no problem. Just say sync table. Okay, that's all. Otherwise what you can do, you just see, like you just ignore here, click here, add dynamic content, and say raw slash, you can say at the rate data set, yeah, you can say something like this, slash. Under this, still I want to just generate year, month, day. So how to generate year, month, day is by using something called format date time. It is going to give you, see, basically it is going to, in this I'm going to generate the UTC now. Generate UTC now, select this. So from this year, month, day, I'll just take year. How to take year? Y. Okay, so this will give the year. Just use same format. Okay, just use same format. See, all these things we discussed as part of training. Suppose if you're not clear on this, you need to go through the previous sessions. Okay? Slash capital MM here slash dt. Okay, so under that, see, I am creating the raw. So under raw, there will be a sync table will come. Under that, year, month, day folders will be created. Click finish. So raw, like under raw folder, I'm going to pass some sync table name. What is sync table name? So basically, you need to say, click on this, add dynamic content, come down, click on for each. In these items, we have a storage path. So this is the my sync table. Give it here, click finish. Now, yeah, that's all. Any questions, friends, before I ran the pipeline? Anybody is having any questions, please let me know. Clear? Yeah, thank you. Let me just start my first. Okay, let's trigger the pipeline. Let's see whether it is working or not. If it is failed, first let's fix this. Lookup has given the all items to the for each. Let's see, for each has received 4 tables. Yes, items count is 4, and it is started copying first table. It is copied successfully. That's why success stored procedure is executing. Let's go here, metadata table. Let's try to understand what is the status of the metadata table. Select star from metadata. Okay, let's execute this. See, what is the status of the first table? First table status is succeeded because we have copied this table successfully. Let's execute select star from metadata. Keep executing this. You will see another table also will come into the success status because the tables are going to succeed. See, the second table is succeeded. Like that, the like tables are going to keep succeeding. So I'll just show you the failure scenario as well. Okay, I'll show you the failure scenario as well. So meanwhile, just let's focus on this particular pipeline. Copy activity success stored procedure, copy activity success stored procedure, copy activity success stored procedure. So, but whatever we have designed, this is not the correct way to design. Okay, I'll just tell you what is the optimized way to design this. The reason is, if it is failed for 2 tables, if the copy activity is failed for 2 tables, we are going to send a notification 2 times. That is not correct way, right? So what you need to do, just yeah, so once this is done, I will tell you what you need to do. But anyhow, this failure scenario we have not executed. It's, there won't be any problem. Yes, our overall pipeline is succeeded. Okay, come here, just check the metadata status. So all the tables are succeeded. If all the tables are succeeded, is there any possibility that I can able to come here? Okay, so all the tables are succeeded. What I need to do, see now what I will do, I'll just take this. Okay, take this. So because let's imagine if the metadata, one of the table got failed, so you are going to send a notification. If 2 tables fail 2 times, you are going to send the notification. I don't want that. Right click on this. So in for each level, after for each I will keep what for each will do. If 3 tables failed, only one time it will show this table, like for each is failed. Inside how many tables got failed doesn't matter, but for each will tell this is the table got failed. So for each activity status, it will show failed. When for each status is failed, I want to just execute. I want to send a notification. If the for each is failed, I want to send a notification. That is the one thing. Next thing is, if the for each is succeeded, I want to call a stored procedure. Same stored procedure I will call. Okay, same stored procedure I will call. Okay, so here, yes, this you can say, but the same stored procedure will not work. Let me quickly create the new stored procedure. Okay, go inside this. From here, let's create a new stored procedure. So how it will work, you see, create for reset underscore status as begin end. Okay, here I am going to say update metadata table. Okay, set status equal to I need to just say ready again. I need to make it ready again, right? So I'll just execute this. Now go to your pipeline here, refresh this, take the reset status stored procedure. If all the tables succeeded, status is succeeded, my stored procedure will make that entire tables again ready for the next execution. If any table is failed, this will not execute because for each status will fail. Then if any one or two tables failed, for each status will be failed. In that case, it is going to trigger the notification. Okay. Now let's go to data lake storage gen 2. Here, go to raw. We'll see custom table, all folders created. Go inside this, we'll have year, month, and a day. Okay. Now what I will do, so it's raw folder itself, I will just delete and recreate it quickly. Okay, raw folder itself I'm just deleting. It's deleted successfully. Okay, I'll just create the one more raw folder. Let's say raw. Save this. Yes, raw folder is created. It does not have any data. You can see that. Okay. Okay, raw. Now let me just run the pipeline once again. See lookup, which is going to read all the table list. It will pass to the for each internally copy one by one table. If this table is succeeded, it will keep updating the status against that. If it is failed, it will just update the failure status. If all the tables succeeded, for each status is succeeded. If any table is failed, the for each status is failed. So if the for each table is failed, I will send a notification. If the for each status is succeeded, I will reset status back to the ready. Let's go to metadata. Select star from metadata, execute this. See, succeeded. All the statuses succeeded. Now what happens? Basically, it will reset the. It should reset the status to ready. We'll see. Is it going to do that or not? Let me just check that. Okay, success stored procedure is executing, but there is a small problem. Succeeded. Come here. One second, I'll tell you. So you go to lookup, you need to just fetch the tables which are not in a status of like succeeded. But spelling, what is the spelling mistake? What it is? Succeeded is correct. Because if the tables already succeeded, we should not pick those things. Okay, that's what I'm meaning. But that's okay. We'll see. Status, it should reset to the ready. Why it is not doing this? Why for each is keep running? Let's refresh this. Okay, some success stored procedures keep running. I think there is a resources bunch. Let's see. Right click on this. Right click on canvas. System is hanging. Yeah. So right click on this and you can say auto align. It will be aligned properly. Yes. I will explain you once again and I will write, I will execute 1 or 2 times. Do not worry. Success stored procedure is taking too much time. Let's wait some time. Yes, it is succeeded. Now it will go and execute the stored procedure one. This is the one. It will reset the status to ready. Now, if you look at all the tables, see status is reset to ready. Now you see all the tables are ready, but data is copied into data lake storage Gen 2 or not. See, I'm going to explain you once again. Come here. So data is copied into raw layer already, but I'll just delete this raw folder again. I will reset everything, and whatever I have developed, I will explain. Okay, save it. So it's a newly created raw folder. It does not have anything. Okay, it does not have anything. Let's go back. Now I'm going to explain the pipeline. Okay, lookup is going to read all the file names, all the table list. So for each table, it is going to try to copy into the destination. If it is failed, it will update the in metadata table for that particular table against status. It will update it as a failed. Otherwise, it will make it as a succeeded. Okay, next. If it is failed or succeeded, if all the tables succeeded, the for each status is what? Succeeded. So if for each is succeeded, stored procedure, another stored procedure will execute this the reset status SP. Reset status SP. So what is the, if all the tables succeeded, what is the status of those tables succeeded? I need to reset that from succeeded to the ready again. That's what it is going to do. In case if any table is failed to copy, for each status is failed, then web activity will execute because it needs to notify us, right? So this is the first pipeline. Let's publish this. I'm going to debug this particular pipeline once again. Now, before I debug, I'm just debugging. But any doubts, friends, in this? Anybody is having any questions? Any questions in this, friends?
No, Malaya.
Okay, so now you see here, lookup is given all the table list. For each one by one it will give. Okay, so those tables one by one we need to copy, and I need to update the status. Success stored to copy data, success stored to copy data, success stored to. Now if you go, some of the tables are succeeded, the status it will show as succeeded. If all the things are succeeded, our storage procedure will reset it to the original. Okay, so our stored procedure will reset all the tables to ready again. So all succeeded, right? Now it will reset to the ready again. See, execute this. See, it is resetted the status to ready. Okay, from succeeded, it is resetted to ready. Okay, now we will execute a failure scenario. Before I execute failure scenario, let me show you one more thing. Come here. Not there. Global. Go to raw. You open any file temp like dynamically. See, this is the year, month, day. So year, month, day folder is created. Inside day, you will have a actual file which is copied. Okay, fine. So I'll just delete this particular raw folder again. This time I'll just create raw folder, and one more thing is, okay, I will just make sure some of the tables not available. If some tables are not available, your pipeline will fail. Okay, let's see that. What you need to do now. See, these are the different scenarios that you will come across in real time. Okay, that's why I'm just exploring all those things. I'm just executing all those things. Okay, so what you need to, I'll just first table. Okay, right click on this. Okay. You have rename table. Okay, just click rename. Okay, I'll just rename it as a custom one. Just rename it as a custom one. So meaning In metadata we are expecting cust table that is not available, so it will throw error. Okay, I just make it as a cust1 table. So now when I run pipeline, cust1 table is not available, so it will throw error. Okay, so cust table is not available, it will throw error, because in our metadata, if you look at our metadata, see metadata cust orders, employee discounts we have, but cust table is not available in my source, it will throw error, it will fail. Okay, let's see now. Okay, moving here and there. Come to pipeline, let's debug the pipeline again. I hope you understood the different scenarios. Okay, so here you see it is failed. Okay, it is failed. Your copy data activity failed. That's why failed stored procedure is executed, and the copy data success stored. See the what happened here. Can you tell me, friends? For each failed, why for each failed? One of the copy activity failed. That's why for each failed, and it triggered the notification. You know, can you check your mail and let us know whether you received mail or not? That is first thing. So meanwhile, we
Okay.
will go and see the what we know. See, succeeded, failed. What we know? Okay, I think I don't know whether Windows is available or not. So I'll just open my mail because
Sir, failed notifications.
you got it, huh?
I got it. Failed message.
Yes, failed message only we have given in logic app, so
Okay.
that's fine. But now the question is, how many tables are succeeded? These three tables succeeded. When I run my next pipeline, next time same pipeline when I run, it should pick only cust table. It should not pick other tables. That's how we have designed. Okay, that's how we have designed. Now you see, my pipeline is going to pick only failure table. It is not going to pick the other tables. Let's click OK. Now you see, look up what you might got. You will get only one table. Okay, let's see. Yeah. See, in lookup output, you got only. We are getting these many. Let me just cancel this. So basically, we're passing for. How come it is happening? Okay, I just cancel this anyhow, because anyhow we don't have a custom table again. I have not renamed. Okay, so go to lookup and configure why it is failing. I want to understand. Succeeded, not succeeded. What is the spelling mistake? SUCCEEDED. Here also I have given same thing, isn't it? In condition also I have given same thing. SUCCEEDED. Isn't it, friends? Not equal to. I'm saying not equal to. So let's first preview the data. Let's try to understand why this is happening. Why it is given SUCC. This is status. Let's check the status. SU. Any space is there here? Oh shit, there is a space. That is the reason. See, now you will get only failure table. Okay, only failure table you will get. Okay, there is some like space issue. Okay, now you see Whenever you debug the pipeline, let's debug the pipeline. Now I will get only failure tables. I won't get all the tables. Only tables which are ready or failed. I won't get succeeded tables. Now, if you look at your lookup output, you are getting only count is one. Only one table you are getting. So for each you will give only one table. Okay. So copy activity is trying to copy that table, but that table is not available still. It will fail. It is failed. So again, we are going to send the like mail notification. See, mail notification is triggering. Now what I want to do, I want to go and correct that particular table name. Right click on this, rename, and just say cust. Cancel. Now the table name is correct. I will go and run again. So even how many times you're running doesn't matter. It will just pick the ready tables and failure tables, right? So now I'll just debug once again. This time this table will reset. Okay, inside for each that one table will be successful. Once that is successful, my stored procedure reset status stored procedure will execute. What it is going to do, it is going to reset the status of all these tables from C. It is also going to succeed now. Once this is succeeded, it will reset our status back to the ready. Let's wait. See, succeeded. All tables succeeded. Now my reset status stored procedure will execute. It will reset the all status to ready. See, all status became now ready. Now when I run my lookup again, when I run same pipeline, can you tell me what will happen? When I run same pipeline, what will happen? What will happen, friends? How many tables I will get in my lookup table? In my lookup activity,
4.
4. Okay, I will get. You understood. Okay. So now if you go here, global, okay, go inside raw, 4 tables came. So if you look at the customer table when this is updated, this is not even it's not coming. Go inside this, go inside this, go inside this, go inside this. See, this is came just now 2, 4, but other files came little bit early because customer table succeeded just now. These tables came early. You can see these tables came at 1:59 because 5 minutes back these tables came. Now, finally, I'm going to run this table once again. Delete this. I'll just create a raw. I'm going to run this particular pipeline once again. Save it. Come here. Let's debug. Okay, look up and other activities will execute. So this time all the tables succeed, right? So all the tables will succeed. Let's see. See, all are ready, but all tables will go into the success state. For each activity, copy activity, store further activity. So one by one, it will execute. So if you think it is taking more time, you can just design to run all the pipelines at once. So using for each settings, you can go to the batch code. So what is the default behavior of the for each? What is the default behavior of the for each? Is it a sequential or batch? It's not a sequence, it's a batch. All tables it will execute at once. Success stored procedure. So overall for each is succeeded. Yes. Okay, overall for each will succeed. Once overall for each is succeed, for each status will be succeeded. Okay, success stored procedure succeeded. Reset status SP. Reset status, what it will do? It will reset the status back to the ready. So if you just check here, it is resetted status back to the ready for all. Okay. Now the time is 2:07. So we will connect again in a 10 minutes. We will connect at 2:20. So I'll just keep recording same way. So we need to continue to develop our next two pipelines. Okay, next two pipelines means those are simple because once you move data into cloud in a particular folder, reading the data, processing the data is very, very simple. So what you need to do, you just connect at 2:20. From 2:20 to 3 o'clock, we will try to finish in next 1 hour. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. Okay, fine friends. Everybody is back. Fine. So now we have data in a raw folder. Okay. Now what we need to do, we need to read that particular data by using data flows. Okay, click here, click new data flow. So first is our source. Where is our source? Our source is available in, okay, so we have already data sets, so you can use that data set, sync data set. Okay, if you want to use the sync data set, you can use. So in this data set, we need to provide one parameter. Okay, so when you will provide that parameter value says, when you will provide that particular parameter value says, come here, click pipeline. Here what I will do, I will use for each. Again, you need to use the same setup basically. Okay. What you can do, just to give me a minute, let me. Okay, fine. Now you see what I will do. I'll just check. I'll just go to data flow. So this is the data set I have selected in this. Go inside this data set. You see there is a raw slash at the rate data set dot sync table at the rate format data. All these things we have. Okay, we have this. If you want to just maintain these things, you can maintain these things. Okay, otherwise what else you can do, so there is some problem here, it may or may not work the same syntax. So for save for site, the easiest thing that you can do is you can just create your own data set. Okay, so don't select this data set, let's create a new data set. Okay, so now my data is available in a gen2 raw folder. Take this raw folder data. Okay. CSV data, you know, this is ds underscore. Okay, you say ds for Azure Data Lake Storage gen2. Okay, so from raw folder I'm going to say raw data set. Okay, select link to service. Okay, file path, so file path is basically global raw. We just selected global raw. If you see, some people what they will do, they just create a multiple data flows. For each table they will create some data flow, but if you want to make it dynamic, you can do it. Otherwise, let's say, so this particular data, like, you know that only this particular first table is going to have a duplicate, so just select this particular table. Okay, year month day you just leave as it is. First row as header, just click OK. Okay, now turn on this data flow debug. We need to turn on this data flow debug to preview this data. Let's say once I read this particular data, I want to just check the row level duplicates. Okay, is there any duplicate records available or not? For that, if you remember, I have explained something called window function. You can just use window function. So you can say here basically source column names. Column names did not flow yet. The reason is so we need to have a data flow debug turned on, then we can able to flow all these columns, whatever columns came here in projection. So you can able to import projection, you can able to read the data. Let's wait until data flow debug is turned on. It will take some 3 minutes. I hope everybody is clear how we have loaded data until the raw folder. Okay, it will come up. Okay, go to pipeline 1. So in this, let's try to use this data flow. What is the data flow? This is the data flow, right? So you just select, go to pipeline 1, go to data flow. Let's select that particular data flow which you updated. This is the data flow. Okay. So immediately go to parameters. See, it is not popping up any parameters. Okay, but it should pop up some parameters. So how you will get these parameters is because you need to create a data flow parameter. How to create data flow parameter? Click on this. You can create a pipeline parameter. Okay, this is df underscore param. Okay, this is data flow parameter. This data flow parameter I'm going to use, this particular data flow parameter I'm going to use to pass my year month day. Okay, I'll just pass year month day. So that particular year month day I will use within this data set. Okay, how we do within this data set? Add dynamic content. Yeah, here basically you need to use a same setup for this one. You need to use some parameter. This one you can say date CP date, Cloud Pandit date. That particular Cloud Pandit date we need to select here and content. Select this dynamic content. Okay, in this, so I got the date. Okay, I got the date. So I need to say format date time. I will use format date time. So in this, I will use the dataset parameter. Dataset parameter, which is basically going to pass, which is going to basically get the format datetime date dataset dot cp date. It will get YYY. Okay, I'll just create this particular data flow. So here I need to give month. Here I need to give date. Okay. So now what happens in this raw folder, raw first folder, I'm just specifying today, this year, this month, today date folder it should look for. Okay, in that particular folder, whatever data it has, that entire data I need to read it into this source data set. So once I read the data into this source data set, then I am going to pass that entire data into the window. So in window I'm going to generate some rank values, dense rank values, or you can simply what else you can do, you are going to use window based on the, like, you can basically use a row number. You can use the row number to identify row number. You can use, or anything you can use basically to ignore the duplicate records. I will show you. Okay, let's first try to preview the data. Go to inspect. See, I'm not getting the column. The reason is very simple. Come to projection, just input projection. So it is asking you to enter the parameter name. Okay, it is asking you to enter the parameter name. So how to enter the parameter name? Here you need to type the parameter name as parameter name. I'll just need to cancel this. Yeah, you just click df underscore param. Here you will have something called run underscore date. Go to functions. See current date. Okay, here is something called current date. In this, if you want to specify something in UTC, I want to generate the date. You just generate the current date. Okay, so current date it will give. A current date it will give. So that particular CP underscore param, that particular date, I want to pass it to the my CP param. Okay, so here you cannot just click save. Okay, go to param. So here, how I'll just get it is, I'll just get it from the data flow expression or pipeline expression. So from pipeline expression, you can simply say UTC. Just select this, click finish. Now come back to the data flow one. So here, as we are using some parameters, I am not able to input projection. I think, let's see. So it is asking you to enter the CP date. So this CP date, when you are inspecting data, you cannot able to produce. You just hard code now. CP date, I'll just simply say 2020-01-30. I'll just hard code for now when I am previewing the data. I'm not running anything. Okay, I'm just previewing the data. So in that case, I'm just hard coding. Please view notification for more details. Wait is not able to input schema. It is saying the refresh. Let's refresh the data. We are not able to get the projection. Let's see. Okay, so it is saying it does not have result of any files. It does not have any files. Why it does not have any files? Cast 2020. Oh shit! Sorry. It should be a 2021, right? I am in 2020. Click debug settings. Go to parameters. Let's change the year to 2021. That is the problem. Okay, save it. About in projection, input projection. See, do not confuse. The simple thing that I have done is I'm trying to read the data lake storage raw folder, and the raw folder, what year I'm trying to read? I'm trying to read the year is 2021-01-30 folder. I'm trying to read the data. I think I don't require this data flow parameter. Let me just delete this. I don't require data flow parameter. Okay, I'm just using the data set parameter. I will tell you how you can pass the value to data set parameter. Okay, you see, so these are the data types I got, but the default data type for integer, I don't want in should be integer. Okay, CID integer, C name and C location is string, and I got the data preview. You can just go to data preview and you can able to preview the data. Okay, so this is the data. If you look at this data, I have some duplicates. To remove these duplicates, come to Windows. So I'm saying I just want to do this particular window column over by all columns. So if entire row is duplicate, then only I want to take. This should be customer ID, customer name, customer location. I think only 3 columns, right? So based on these 3 columns, I'm going to generate the windows. So I extend all that window function, all those things. Okay. Select column, sort by anything is my customer ID, range by. So you can just keep it as it is, window function. So what I want to generate, the column that I'm going to add here is row number. Okay, I want to generate the row number. How you will generate row number? Open expression builder. Sorry. Row number. Click finish. Now come to data preview. Let's refresh this data. I'm just reading data from the raw folder. So you see, for 1 it has given row number as 1 and 2. For 2 it has given row number is 1 and 2. Now I want to get to only one set of records. What you need to do, you need to apply a filter. So I'll just apply filter. What this filter is going to do? This filter is going to filter the records. Okay, let it be. So the filter condition is very simple. I'll say simply equals equals with what? Equals with what value? Row number. Okay, go to column names. Go to top, you'll have a column names. See here, I have generated a row number column. If the row number column is equal to 1, Okay, how equals will work? Just keep cursor here. It will tell you any. Okay. See, row number value is 1. Only that kind of records I want to get. Okay, just click save equal to, go to data preview, refresh this output and check. Okay. But basically you can apply multiple checks, whatever we learned, null values, all those things. See, I'm just getting one set of the records, unique records. So out of this row number column, I don't require. I just want to remove that column. You can just use select. You just select the required columns. Those are only these 3 columns. These 3 columns, I want to write it into my processed folder, right into your sync. Okay, in sync, I want to create a new data set. This data set basically work for your Gen2, data lake storage Gen2, continue as CSV file, continue. So this is basically, see, you can make a very dynamic, but I don't want that to be done. So if I do that, you may confuse cust data set. First sync data set. So use this linked service. First as header, browse it, select global, select process data, and you know this is a specific to, so specific to cust, right? So you just hard code that particular cust folder name here. This is a cust, and year, month, day, it will change. So every time it will change, right? So that's why that year, month, day, I'll just generate the dynamic. I will tell you how to generate. Yeah, you don't have this folder, you have to select none and click OK. Now I will go to this cust sync data set. Where is that? Yes, this one. Go to this. Go to parameters, create one parameter which is going to receive the date dynamically. Okay, so sync date. I will just create a multiple so that you'll have a more clarity. Just click on this, add dynamic content. So this you need to set the rate, format data, format date time. Put this here itself. Okay, format date time. You need to say UTC now. So UTC now. Then you need to say year. Okay, this is the one way. Next, format date time UTC now, year. This year. Next, what we need to generate? Month, day. So this I'm repeating multiple times. You should be able to understand. This is a month capital. Finish. So now year, month, day will come dynamically. How it will come? I will tell you. Come to data flow. So go to sync, click data preview. So we want to find something in my click here to see. Go to inspect. Everything is fine. Yeah. You want to write it into single file, you can just say set single partition. We discussed this as well, but I don't want to restrict to a single file. Maybe it can be a multiple files, right? So let it be. Yeah, so see, this time there is no issue. I have not done anything, I just moved here. No value provided for parameter sync date. Okay, let me just provide the sync date parameter value. So sync parameter value is same because in same folder I want to pass the data. Click save. Let's refresh this. Okay, so this data it is going to write. Let's go to the pipeline one. This is basically a data flow for cust. Okay, I want to execute that, but before you execute, you need to provide the values to two parameters. Okay, this one and this one. How will you provide? Click on this add dynamic content. You can simply say UTC. Now, previously hard code, now you don't need hard code. Okay, and yeah, so other formats it will take care. Let's just click here, click add dynamic content. Just say UTC now, because today date it should pass. Dates you may pass something, but anyhow I am using a UTC now. Today date it will give. So all our data in raw folder is available in a today date folder 2021-01-30. So in the same way, this UTC now also will give the today date. So today date means only today files it will pick from the raw folder. So in raw 2021-01-30, it will pick this data. So in this we have some duplicate records. You can see edit. You can see we have some duplicate records here, isn't it? So these duplicate records it will ignore and it will write all this data into process data folder. Okay, here it will create the custom folder. Inside that it will create 2020. Everything will be done by our data flow. Okay, let me just debug data flow. But when it is writing the data, it is going to consider only unique records. Okay. Let's run this. Okay, this is succeeded. Okay, this is succeeded. Let's see whether it is really created a folder in process data is cust. We inside that 2021-01-30. Let's open this file and see. We basically have a unique records here because we removed the duplicate records. We got unique records. Okay, likewise other files also I need to know. Basically you can create a single data flow. Okay, you can just dynamically you can able to pass it all these things, but you will confuse. That's why I'll just create a multiple data flows for each table. Okay, for each table this is data flow for first. Likewise I'll just apply the data flow for each table, the data flow for each table. So other tables I know there won't be any duplicate record. I simply have to copy data from raw to like raw to process data folder. Suppose if you want to check something, you can just apply all these data quality checks. But let's say for other tables, I just wanted to load just like that, read and write. That's all. Okay. So, but if you want to do any other checks, okay, let's say duplicate checks I want to do in all the tables. Very simple. Delete this. Let's clone this. But you may confuse if you clone it. Okay, let's go with the two tables from raw layer. I just want to pick only two tables and I will do. Okay, now I have created data flow for cust table. Let me create a data flow for the order table. New data flow. This data flow is basically for the order table. So you need to understand at least from source data. So where is my source? My source is basically click new data set. Data is available in a Gen2. Select Gen2, click continue. Add the CSV files, click continue. Here's a ds underscore Azure ds underscore order source data set. Use this link to service. First as header, click on this. So you need to pick data from raw folder. So select raw. So now you need to select cust, not cust orders. So inside order, what dates you will have, you cannot say. Those dates you need to pass it dynamically. That's why click OK. That's all. How to pass those dates dynamically? Open this data set. create a parameter, source state, come to connection. So here add dynamic content, this slash, you need to generate something, format data. Here you need to say UTC now, comma, let's say YYY to set. This will just take from whatever data I'm passing to this parameter. So not UTC, no. You need to pass the parameter, data set parameter. Where is data set parameter? Source data. Okay. So this is how you need to form. Same thing you copy paste. Here you will get it from the parameter slash month and day. Day means small d day. Month means capital M. Finish this. Okay, this is how you are going to read the source data. Go to orders data flow and go to debug settings. So if you want to preview data, you need to set the parameter value. So you cannot dynamically pass the value. You need to hard code here. Let me hard code here. Save it. Let's come to data preview. Refresh this. This is basically orders data. Okay, in orders data, I want to check order name is null. If the order name is null, I don't want to get those records in my output. Okay, let's click a filter condition directly. In this filter, what I will do, is null. So is null. Is null of what? So is null means, once again, so is not null. If you want, you just have to use not. I think check it. I'll have something for one second. Just check not. Fine. Is null what I want to do? Is null I want to apply on a column names are not passing because I have not input the schema. This got changes. Go to source, come to projection, import projection. So as I am not importing projection, those column names are not available. So I'm going to import the projection, but in data preview you can see you have order name. So if the order name is null, such type of records I need to ignore, and other good records I need to write it into my process data flow. Projection, it is still getting the projection. Okay, it got these things. Okay, I'll just consider these things as integer instead of the short. Okay, you can just check these things in a default format. We discussed those things. Come here now. Now you will have a column names. See column names, order ID, order name. Okay, so I want to check is null of. Okay, so what is null? Order name. If order name is null, okay, see, if order name is null, if this particular order name is null, it will return a true. Okay, otherwise it will return false. Come here, go to data preview, refresh this. Do we have any null value? Do we have any null value in our source? Can you check in our data preview? Do we have null values? No. Okay, so what will happen when you say is null value? Will we get any records or not? No. Why? Because there is no null values. Now I want to get all the records. So what you need to do, you need to make it as a false. So to make it as a false, there is a something called not, I think. So it is not displaying, but there will be something on not. Okay, not what it will do, if it is written true, it will make it as a false. If it is written false, it will return it true. Okay, now if you are going to get only all not null values, you are going to get only all not null values. So basically whatever records I have, all those records, in all those records I don't have any null values, so I will get all the records. In future, if I get any column with a null, that kind of records I won't get. All these things I'm getting, these things I want to write it. Click sync, click new data set. You can say this is basically a Gen 2 data external Gen 2, click continue, CSV, click continue, ADLS, sync. Okay, instead of that, you can say order, order, order sync dataset. Use this link service. First is header, browse it. So next, my output should be written to the process folder, process data, not in a cust, because that folder name is not available. I need to create it. Okay, click OK. Okay, so I'll just tell you how you need to do. So data set is created. Open this data set. Okay, I need to pass the, like, under process data, it should create a or table name. Under that, it should create year, month, day. Year, month, day should be dynamic. That's why I'm creating the parameter. Okay, this is a sync date. Sync date and the connection. So here, add dynamic content process data slash order slash, can say format date time. So in this, you need to pass your data set parameter. Okay. So in this data set parameter, what I want to get, year only I want to get. Say I'm using this particular parameter multiple times. You should be able to understand what I'm doing by using this. So parameter. Okay. So here I need to pass in here I need to pass TD. But who is going to assign data to the sync date? So I'm going to pass the value to that sync date. Okay. Come to orders. Here you see debug settings. I will go to parameters. I will provide the date to sync date 2020-01-30. So this is best just for the previewing. Okay, for data preview, I have provided the hard coded value. But when I'm executing this data flow underscore order from the pipeline, I will pass the dynamic values to these two parameters. These dates I will pass it dynamically. Here I hard coded because I want to preview the data. Yes, I got this. Now let's create a new pipeline. Example. So PL underscore orders. This is order. Okay. PL for executing data flow order. So let me rename this as well, just for syncing of the names. PL underscore data flow underscore cust. Okay. So in this orders pipeline, we need to take data flow. This data flow. We need to execute this data flow. A parameter value. See, now I'm also here. Here parameters are available. I'm going to pass it date dynamically. Today date I will pass out UTC. Instead of hard coding, you can just pass the UTC now. Now what will happen? So go to global. So I have in process table, I have only cust. Now orders table will come when I execute this data. Just execute this, debug. Okay. So all this data move to the now process data. Refresh this. Orders table can go inside this. 2020 go inside this 01 30. We'll have a orders data can. This is a CSV only because I have mentioned CSV. Okay. It written the data. Likewise, whatever data like data quality checks we want to do, null checks we have done in orders, duplicate checks we have done in cost. Like that, if you want to apply all the checks on a particular table, you can apply the data flows and you can do, and then you are going to write data into your process data folder. So once you have written data into process data folder, then I'm going to execute again. Okay, let me create a 2 more data flows for the other 2 tables as well, but I'm not going to apply any data quality checks. But in your case, if you want to apply data quality checks, you need to do. Just for your understanding, I'm doing this. df underscore employees. I'll just read the data and just write the data into sync. That's all. Read and write data into sync. So from where I need to read, create a data set, new data set. Gen2 continue, CSV continue. So basically you can say CSV source data set. Source data set of what? Source data set of EMP. Use this link service. First as that browse it. Global. So other things I will tell you. Just say just global. Okay. Click OK. This is my source. Come to sync. Create a new data set for sync. Data extraction to click. CSV click. This basically DS for simple data set for EMP. Use this link service. First as that browse it. Select this global folder. That's all. I will tell you what you need to do now. Click OK. So we know from source I need to read data. My source is in raw layer. Open this data set. Okay. See, go to parameter. There's a source date. Date I need to get it. Okay. Once again date, year and dynamic content and content. So first I need to say raw folder. Inside this will have a raw folder. Inside raw I need to say EMP. Under EMP I need to generate the dates. The date should come dynamically. That's why format date time. Okay. In this I need to use the source data set parameter. In this source date you will get year, month and day. So I want to filter up only year. So first I will create year folder. Next I will create the month folder. Next I will create date. So you need to say DD. See, I am creating a lot of things. You should be able to understand at least by now. You go to data flows, DFEMP. Now go to sync, open sync data set. So same, go to parameters, create a sync date. Dynamically, I need to pass sync date from the connection. So here, my data should be written to. So what layer that is? Check it. Process date. So this should be a process date slash, for which table it is, emp slash date. Date is same thing, format date. You need to pass here. Inside here I just pick only inside this, you just pick only here. This is here, this is NM, this is DD. Click finish. That's all. Okay, I'll create a new pipeline to move data from source data set to sync data set. There is a small mistake. There is at the rate this. Click finish. I'll just create the new pipeline. This is basically PL for DF underscore ELP. Executing the employee data flow. Employee data flow. I have this particular pipeline. Use the data flow. Settings. Use the employee data flow parameters. You don't have in settings itself. See dates, source date. I'll just pass it in. I will pass it to UTC. Select it, click OK. From here, select it, click add dynamic content. UTC. I can simply say UTC now at the rate. Click finish. Now let's debug this. This will get the data of, this will get the employee data into this process data. Successful. Come here, refresh this. We'll have a employee data also. Go inside this. We'll have a year, month, day. Go inside this. We have a file. Come here now. Let's close this. Let's close this. Now I'm going to create one more data flow for this. And this. Click new data flow. Basically, this is the data flow for discounts. Data flow for discounts. So again, read the data. Don't do any checks because if you want to do checks, you already know you can apply checks and write it. But normally, I want to write it again. You may ask why you are writing because I just want to write. But basically, real-time requirement is you need to do some data quality checks. Then you need to write it. Click new data set. Gen 2, click it. CSV, click on this. This is it. DS for source data set of what? Source data set of for what? Discounted. Linked services is first as data, browse it, global, select raw. Click OK. Click sync. Settings. Sorry. Click new data set. Gen 2, click continue. CSV, click continue. Select this particular linked service. First is data, browse it. Select global, process data. Click OK. So now click OK. Open source data first. Come here. Edit parameter to pass the data. Okay. Come here. Click on this raw and dynamic. Just put raw slash. So this is basically discount column. Discounts slash at the rate format date time. Come to parameter which is date param. This you need to pick only year. Close this. Take this month and day I need to generate. This is the month. This is the date. Just keep this till here and just copy. And click finish. In the same way, go to your discounts data flow. Click on sync data, sync stream. Open this sync data set. Okay. So add dynamic content. You can say here So first you need to copy exactly same. I'll just tell you data set dot date param is not there. I will create it. Just want to take process data. Just add the process data here. So next I need to create a date parameter. It is not available. That's why it is throwing error. So come to parameter. Let's create this parameter. So now you see error. It is not. Now you see with the date param you will pass the year, month, and day. I will just get it. Click finish. Now this also I want to execute. For that I will create the one more pipeline. Create PL. PL underscore DF underscore discounts. Spelling mistake. Discounts. We should put up discounts. Click OK. So mapping data flow, bring the data for activity. So this data for activity basically going to execute over discounts. And you need to pass the source date and the destination date. Let me just pass it. UTC. Okay. So sync also same way. Okay. Now you just debug this data flow, which is going to like put the your discount data in this process date folder. Process data. By mistake, I have given process date. That's okay. But discount table data should come now. See, discounts came. Inside that, you'll have year, month, and a day. Okay, fine. Now, see, this is what you need to tell to the interviewer. You are writing data as a year, month, day folder. Okay, this is okay. Now, let's create a final pipeline. This pipeline is not a final. This is basically load data. Okay, load data from load data. Okay, so I'm going to load data from. I'm going to load data from we have a processed to refined layer. I need to load the data refined layer. Okay, I need to move the data from load data. Okay, but I'm just considering load data from process data to refined data folder. Okay, refined data folder. This is what I need to do. For that, I'm going to use my data flow. But data flow is not available. I will create it. Okay? I'll create a one data flow. Click a new data flow. This is the data flow. What is my source? See, this time I'm going to write my data into refined layer. That refined layer, what data I'm going to write is, I'm going to write it basically what data I will write. I will write my joined data. Okay, so example, I'll just read data from my customer. Okay, just read data from customer table. I'll tell you from process layer. Refined source data set. Refined custody data set. Okay, refined layer custody data set. Just okay, use this linker service. Select this particular global. This time processed. Okay, from process data cust folder data I will pass it directly. Okay, first was the I'm reading the data from the cust table. I also need to read data from the order table in a process processed folder. The data linker service is this. First is data, browse it, plural, process update. Okay, that's all. I'll just take care of the other things. Okay, what table to read. So how we will take care? Open each data set. Let's create a folder. Okay. Param date. This I use to generate the dates then. Slash same thing format. See, if you know this one thing, you can. How I will get the date? This is the date I'll get. From this date, I'll just give year. So here I need to say M1. Here I need to say TD. Click finish. Okay, that's okay. Now go back to this pipeline, this data set, open this data set. Say I read the source data. Now I need to read the, this is basically customer data. Okay, you can say cust data. So it will change, the name will change the cust data. Okay. Now this is basically order data. We just write data into orders table. Okay, order data. So order data I need to read. For that, open this data set. Let's create this folder again. So create a parameters, param date. So anything you can give this, you know, right? Come here, just use this process data dynamic content. Put this here. Click here. You need to say format date. Select this. So just use the parameter here. Param date. Year. Use this. This is month. This is day. So I'm just reading the two data sets. Okay, I'm just reading the two data sets. You can say I'm just reading custody data and order data. I want to join these two dates. These two data sets I want to join. Maybe inner join I want to. Okay, as per the requirement, if you want to apply SD1, if you want to do, you can do. But basically, I want to do inner join and I want to get the only common records. Okay, so go to order date, projection. So we have, this should be integer. Go to custody data, projection. This should be integer. Yeah, you need to select its order data is my right data set. Here you need to select customer ID. Okay, so if both, like in customer data table, I should have a customer ID that is matching with the order data table, then those records I will get it in my output. Okay, so click here to see parameters. Okay, first I need to set the parameters. Let me set the parameter values. You know my data is available for both 2021 01 30. So if we give this, I can able to preview the data. Refresh this, we'll see the common records. See, I'm just applying a small inner join. Basically, what you can do, you can just do the okay. So not a process date. First is there. Here I should put orders. In process date, I should have order. Under orders, I have this date. Okay, data flows. Let's come to join. So refresh this join. So basically, I am just applying InnoGen, but we learned how you can implement SD1, SD2, how you can handle error records, how you can check null checks, duplicate checks, all the different checks, how you can perform data quality checks and SD1, SD2, all those things we have completed. So all those things you can able to do here. So after the join results, I will write it into my refined layer. So that refined layer, from refined layer, I want to copy the data into my data warehouse. By using copy activity, I can able to do simple copy, right? See, these are the data which is a this is the data which is basically matching. Okay, which is basically matching. Okay, I want to select only few columns out of all these columns. Let's click not direct, remove this direct. Okay, I want to select only few columns. That's why right click, select. I'll just select only few columns. I don't want to write all the columns to the destination. Customer ID, customer name, customer location, order ID, customer ID. This is not required. I'll just delete this. Okay. Next, what we have, order data and order data. So in order data, we have order name and order location. Order name and order ID. We should have these two, but I'm getting something else. Let's go to order date. It is coming like this. Go to this data set. Okay, go to orders. In process data, go to orders and check whether you have loaded data correctly, or instead of orders you loaded customer data. So this data is correct. This data is correct. Then process data order year month date. That's okay. Come here, data flow. Come to projection. Let's do import projection once again. Order ID, these things I should have. Order ID, order name, customer ID I got. Okay. Now in the join condition also I have used customer ID. That's okay. Come here. In days, I should see. Yeah, let's say reset this. See, now you got order ID, order name, and customer ID. This customer ID will delete it. It's a repeated. Okay, only these 5 details I will write it. Come to data preview, refresh this. We'll have this data. This data I will write it into my refined layer same folder. Okay, maybe custom dimension or something like that. I will write the data. Yeah. So this data I will write it into my refined layer. So select sync. New data set. Gento, click continue. CSV, click continue. Azure, yeah, this is, you can set final data set. Some names you can give. Just to select this linked service. So file system global refined data, and refined data I'll just mention the subfolder names. Subfolder names I'll just mention now. What you need to do, I'll just go inside this particular data set. I'll just mention, click the, yeah, so just pause, date, parent date, come to connection, click on this, Okay, you can say, cancel this. Take this refined data folder, click add dynamic content, put this here. You can say here you need set custom underscore dimension slash dim cust slash. You need to put this date also. So you don't need to put dimensions, you don't need to put year, month, day, right? So you'll have dimensions in a direct folder. Okay, just click finish. That's all you need to have. So now just come to data flow. Okay, so this data flow I'll just execute it. How I will execute, but with the help of this particular pipeline I will execute this. So but go to your global, go to refined data. You see you don't have any folder. Now I'll just run it. This will load the data. It is saying no value provided for param data. Maybe final data set I might have created the a good param. Let's delete this. This is not required. Come here. Let's debug this. Where else I have mixed this? Oh yes, you are right. So you need to provide the date, right? So dynamic dates you need to pass for the source data set and the sync data set. You need to say UTC. So for sync data set also we need to pass the UTC node and local. Let's click debug. This is going to execute. Once it is executed, this will load data into the refined folder. See, dimcast came. Dimcast directly data will be there here. So this data I want to load it into my data warehouse. Okay. So for that, just to publish all these changes first. Just publishing all these things. Yes, publish all these things which we have created newly. Now I'll create a one more pipeline. Maybe, yeah, this you can say load data from refined to equal DW. Okay, close it. So to copy data, so what you can do, if you have a multiple dimensions, you know how to copy. If we have a single dimension, we will just use the copy data. Okay, so what is my source? I'll just hard code everything for now, but you know how to do that. Continue dimension CSV is the source data set for this. Use this linker service. First as a browse it in the global. In this we have a refined data. In this we have a dim cust folder. We need to select. That's all. Just select it. In this dim cust folder, if you have multiple files, all the files we need to pick. Okay, wildcard sync. Where I need to load this data? I need to load this data into SQL DW. Okay, Azure Synapse Analytics. You can say Synapse. Click on Azure Synapse Analytics. Click on this. This is a LS for SQL DW connection. Linker service. Let's create the linker service to your data warehouse. Oh shit. Previous one is not a linker service. This is this data set. Let's create the linker service now. Click new. This is what LS for equal DW. Okay, integration on term subscription is this. Server name is this, the one which we have created. We have a database. This is the one we have created. Username is, I know username I'll enter. So if you want to read the password from the keyword, you can do that. Okay. But I will just output for now. You can test the connection. Maybe IP address issue may come. So we need to whitelist our IP address. Just click on this. So there is a some IP address is not allowed. Go to data warehouse. Click on go to resource. Come down. Click on, where is that? There is a firewall and virtual networks. Click on this. 10 more minutes. Add dynamic, add client IP. Turn on this Azure resources to alert to the SQL DW. So once it is updated, come to data factory, test connection. Connection successful. Okay. So now, see, you don't have any table. I want to create a table. Okay, just say DBO schema, and I can say dimcast. Dimcast is the table that I want to create. Click OK. Table is not there. You cannot import schema when the table is not there. Click OK. Select none and click OK. And this particular data I want to go as a bulk insert. You know Polybase how to do. Auto create table. I want to create a table automatically. Okay, these two things I want to do. Now let's go to data warehouse. First, let's connect to the data warehouse and see whether we have any tables. We don't have any tables. Let's click OK. Okay, let's check the tables. We don't have tables because table will be created dynamically. Okay, now come here. Let's click debug. Incorrect syntax. Okay, come here, source. Click on source. Click preview data. Okay, there is a issue with this part files. So what we need to do? Okay, so we can do in a different way. That is, go to global. Is the dimcast, right? So dimcast data, instead of writing like this, I just say don't generate all these things. I want to write it into a single file. First, I will write a new data to my dimcast. Okay, for that, which pipeline I need to execute? This pipeline I need to execute. When I'm executing this pipeline, I need to go to data flow. Open this data flow. So sync side, I need to say settings. Output a single file. Set single partition. You can say dimcast.csv. Okay, first let's run this. It is going to load the data again into the refined layer. Then I will run my refined to the SQL DW because it is trying to read, my copy active is trying to read that those part files, everything, and it is throwing error. Okay, let's wait now. Let's go and check in global refine. Yes, dimcust.csv file came now. So this particular thing is succeeded basically. Status should update to succeeded. Status is success should come. And see this. Refresh this. So, but our actual output it is generated, and I don't know why it is taking this much time to update the status as succeeded. Let's click on this. Okay, so anyhow, status is succeeded. Now I'll go to refine to SQL DW. I'll just debug this once again. So meanwhile, we have already verified in data warehouse, we don't have any tables. Refresh this and check. We don't have any tables. Okay. Now our pipeline is running. It is going to create the tables and see that. Yes, it is succeeded. Come to data warehouse. Refresh this. Check these tables. Dimcast we have. This dimcast will have the data which we have written. Let's run it. So 1, 4, 2. These are the records which has a matching records with respect to the order and the customer. Now, what I will do, I'll just drop this table, drop dim first, drop table dim cost, run it. Okay. It is done. So there is no table again. You can see there is no tables. Now go to storage, come here. I'll just delete global folder itself. Okay. Let's create one by one. Let me just delete them. Okay. So all these folders are going to create automatically by my pipeline. So I'm going to create a one master pipeline which is going to execute all the pipelines which we have created as of now. Let's create a pipeline. This is called a master pipeline. This is called a master pipeline. I will call it as a master pipeline. I'll tell you master pipeline. I will call it as a master pipeline. Okay, master pipeline. In this master pipeline, I'll just use execute pipeline. First execute pipeline. What pipeline I need to execute first time? I need to execute check on-premise SQL Server to ADLS Gen 2. This pipeline I need to execute. Next pipeline that I need to execute is what? Next pipeline. Which pipeline I need to execute? I need to execute next that I need to execute is these, right? So df cust. Okay. So raw we have loaded raw to where? See, just you need to bring on. So this is basically a raw. This is custom. Okay, this is basically you can say. This is basically raw to processed cust. Okay. This is the table we are executing. Next, once the data is available, next I need to execute a next data flow is basically order. Okay. For that you need to call the order pipeline. Okay. Next again in the same way, just to bring execute pipeline active one more. You can simply say. Okay. So this is basically going to say This is employee. I come to settings. You can see I'm going to execute employee. Next, execute pipeline one more, because all these things should happen parallelly. Okay, so my final one, this is basically to copy discounts. The discounts by data flow you need to select. Then once all these are executed, next time it is a execute pipeline. So once all these are succeeded, once all these are okay, here you just say process it to refine. So because from here we got from dot to process to refine. So after that, refined to data warehouse. Okay, so you just say refined to data warehouse. Okay, now right click on this, say auto align. So auto align. Now it is going to align the pipeline. See, first you execute this on-premise to the data, like on-premise to the data lake storage into, then raw to processed will be done by all these pipelines. From processed to this is basically processed to refined. Okay, if you want to change those names, you can change. Processed to refined. Okay. Next, this pipeline is basically from refined to equal DW. Okay, it's equal DW. I just renamed this. This also will rename finally. On-premise to ADLS Gent. On-premise SQL Server to ADLS Gent. Okay. Now, publisher, what you can do, you can just, we discussed about event trigger, tumbling trigger, self-dependency. Okay, so other trigger dependency, we talked about backfilling of the data by using tumbling window. We talked about all those things. Okay, next, what else we have? Event trigger, like tumbling window trigger, schedule trigger, all those triggers we have done. So if you want to create a trigger, so what is the time now? 3:42. I'll just schedule a pipeline at 3:44. Okay, there's a trigger one, let it be scheduled in which time zone. So in IST, suggest section. Okay, this is IST 3:42 p.m. right? So 3:44. I'll just schedule the pipeline 3:44 p.m. 3:44 p.m. Just scheduling. Do we have any end time? So if you want to specify end time, you can specify. This is basically tomorrow. So I don't want to go for tomorrow. This is basically for every 1 hour or something. You can say every 1 hour. So meaning at 3:44 it will explode, but 4:44, 5:44, something like that. So I'll just end it today itself. Just end it today itself, or maybe 4 or 6 p.m. Anything this time. Okay. Click OK. So 3:44 p.m. it is going to execute. Click OK. Then publisher. So I no need to do anything. My pipeline is going to publish automatically. Now I just done. So within the next 35 seconds, my pipeline will run automatically as per the schedule. And it is going to create all the required folders in my data lake storage Gen 2, and it will take some time. Okay, if you want to maintain some wait time, you can use the wait activity to explore in detail, to inspect the folders, data, all those things. You can able to use the wait activity. Let's see, 3:43, 10 more seconds left. Yes, it's done. Now refresh this. Not here, triggers. See, our pipeline, master pipeline is started running. Refresh this. it first called on-premise to SQL Server. First, it called on-premise to SQL Server. So it is going to invoke our pipeline. So the pipeline is going to start copying the raw data. First raw folder is created. Inside that, it started copying all those things is happening at once, because if you remember, I made it as a batch, not sequence. Okay. So next, it will copy data from raw to processed, because next pipeline might have picked, right? Refresh this to see. Next order cust. Other pipelines also should pick immediately. All four pipelines should run parallelly. So all four are running parallelly from raw to processed. Just refresh this. So processed folder will be created, and see, go inside this and you will see all this, and you will have a today data. 30. Okay, inside this we'll have a data. Okay, come to global raw folder, refresh this. This is the data flow, right? Data flow means, oh, we triggered. Oh my God. It will take 5 minutes. Why? Because it is going to create a cluster, and on that cluster, it is going to execute these data flows, right? So we have not debugged, we triggered. So it is going to create these cluster. On that cluster, it is going to execute these data flows. So it will take some 5 minutes to execute these data flows. Okay, let's wait. At least it will take some 350 till 350 we need to wait. Let's wait, friends. Okay. Still, we need to wait for 2 more minutes. Let's wait, friends. See, like one of the data flow is succeeded, that is orders. Let's come here, refresh this. We'll see in the processed folder we have a, see, all these things came. All these things came means all the pipelines succeeded. See, all these succeeded. EMP also basically succeeded. Status it will update. Yes, it is updated. Now, next pipeline it is going to pick loading data from processed data to refined layer. Okay, so this is how our real-time project will have data in on-premise that we will load it into the cloud. In cloud again, you will have a different folders, raw layer where you have dumped. From there you will do data quality checks, load it into another folder. From there you will do the dimensions, SD1, SD2, or whatever you want to do, you are going to do it. Okay, so let's go inside this particular pipeline. You'll have a activity, data for activity. So the problem with this trigger is what will happen every time. Every time, so when you trigger your data flow, it is going to create the new cluster. Okay, new cluster, and on new cluster it is going to execute. This is called a job cluster in Databricks. Job cluster will be created. On that job cluster, these data flows will execute. So again, we need to wait for 5 more minutes to execute this data flow. Once this data flow is finished, so what this data flow is going to do, this next data flow. See, if you just go to your master pipeline, if you click on master pipeline, so in master pipeline, you can see what happened as of now. See, as of now, this is succeeded, this is succeeded, this is executing. So again, it will take some time because it's a data flow. So again, it will take some 5 minutes. Once this is executed, then it will execute this copy activity. For copy activity, we don't require a cluster. So immediately, once this is finished, it will start executing. Okay, we have alert mechanism, everything inside each pipeline, so we no need to do here. Okay, if you want to put like overall notification, you can set up those web activity here as well. Okay, but let's come back. See that refined layer folder will create, and you can able to see. Come back. See, all these things approximately took 5 minutes 40 seconds, right? So now 2.5 minutes. We need to wait still 3 more minutes to finish this particular data flow. Okay, let's wait 2 more minutes. Then once this is finished and final pipeline will execute, which will load data into data warehouse. See, this master pipeline is triggered by our trigger which we have created, and all these pipelines is triggered by my master pipeline. Okay, this is called a trigger ID. Refresh this. So once this is finished, my copy activity, it will not take more than 30 seconds. Within 30 seconds it will finish. Okay, come here, refresh this. See, my refund data folder created. Inside this dim cust data, I'm able to see this data. I'm going to load it into my data warehouse. Where is your data warehouse? Here, let's check it. Do we have any tables? No, but your final pipeline is going to run now. Final pipeline will pick immediately as soon as this is finished. Yes, now it is going to pick. Our final pipeline is going to start running. See, load refined to SQL DW. This is running. Come here or refresh this. Check the table list. See, dim cust came. Okay, so we can select this dim cust. In this, we'll have a data. Okay, this is how we need to load the data into data warehouse. From there, data will go for the reporting once we have dimensions and facts. We already learned how you can implement SCD1 dimension, SCD2 dimension, SCD1 how you can implement with hash key, with surrogate key. Okay, all those things we discussed. Okay, any questions? Murli, Nagaraj, Ratnraj, Vinay, Vinod, Bhaskar, Reddy, Bharat. Anybody have any questions from here? Murli, are you clear? Vinod, clear?
Yes, Malaya, clear.
Okay. Okay. So just to go through the video 1 or 2 times so that you can able to understand. Okay. So it will be very useful. You just go through this particular session, because based on this we'll have a next project. Okay. So we will talk about Databricks, how we can involve instead of database. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you. So